the new reservation was established at Santee. The Christians were ostracized, ridiculed, and just made life miserable for the Christians. You embrace a white man's religion. God is not a white man. Our word for God is Wakanskaka, Great Spirit. He's not a white man. But that's what they accused him. It just so happened that the ones that brought us the gospel were white men. But it's not their religion, it's God's religion. So finally they said, you take the land, we'll leave. So in March of 1879, the group left. They walked. They had improvised packs. They walked. And they would gather in the evenings and share their food and have their devotion and pray together. In the morning they'd do the same thing, and then they would walk. Chaku omanipi ena washte wichakina kekte. Great Spirit God, Thou omnipresent one, Thou alone know all that is ever known. All those who dare to walk your sacred path, they will endear themselves to your great love. They would sing hymns to maintain morale. They would walk, encourage each other. They had heard of the Homestead Act. They were coming. They renounced the reservation. They wanted to be on their own. But in order to be a homesteader, you had to be a citizen. So John P. Williamson, the missionary, helped them. So they became the first Native American citizens. All Native Americans became citizens April 2nd, 1924. They were last to become citizens in their own land. They became the first Native American homesteaders. They got land, they homesteaded, and in order to protect it from state taxation, finally the federal government placed this and made it into a reservation. But before that, it is homestead land. They also became the first citizens, and they established themselves as the first Native American Christian colony. They built a church. They got John P. Williamson appealed to Washington, said, you've been trying to force the Indians to farm their own lands. Here's a group on their own volition doing exactly what you've been trying to force them to do, but they need help. So he was able to get them oxen and other kind of, and they used oxen to bring lumber from Windham, Minnesota, and built a church. It also became the first Native American Christian colony in the world. It sent out missionaries, including my grandfather. Served over there in Pine Ridge 40 years. I was born. I'm a Santee, but I speak Lakota instead of Dakota. That was my first language because that's what they speak with them. Yeah. So we have a remarkable history. Christian colonies sending out missionaries. Now, the old church is still here, the original church. We have a new church building here, but hardly anybody comes in a church anymore.